Hey guys, this is Thomas over here, nursemoneytalk.com. And in this video, what I want to do is I want to talk about kind of like a question that I've seen kind of asked here and there, and that's how long it will take you to get your ATT, also known as your authorization to test, as you're waiting and trying to schedule for the NCLEX. But before I get into that, if you're not already subscribed, I want to go ahead and invite you to hit that subscribe button on this channel. I talk about all things related to nursing student, and of course, nurse life. One more thing is that if you haven't already gotten an NCLEX prep, make sure to check out the NCLEX prep course I recommend by going to nursemoneytalk.com/NCLEX prep. Let's go ahead and get started. And so for those of you who don't know, and if you just happen to be watching this, when I say ATT, that's your authorization to test, and that's what you actually need to, schedule to be able to schedule with Pearson VUE to take your NCLEX. Now, as for when you will receive your ATT, it can take, maybe 3 weeks, 4 weeks or so in order to receive your ATT. And sometimes it can take, it can go a lot quicker than that. Sometimes it might take a little bit longer than that. But the things that you need to know is that there is a fair bit of moving pieces that goes along with this. And so part of the holdup will, first of all, it will depend on you doing everything that you need to do, but also depend on how quickly your school does what they need to do. And then of course your nursing regulatory body. Now, to be able to apply for the ATT, you need to, of course, first apply with you need to apply to your state board of nursing. This, you'll at times see it called the NRB or see it where they'll say NRB, which just said nursing regulatory body. I think that's generally the term that, if you go on the NCSBN website, that's the National Council of State Board of Nursing. That's generally what they use. And then of course you need to sign up for Pearson VUE, and you need to try to do this as early as possible. Make sure you get everything done. Make sure you didn't miss any steps as well, or anything you need to turn in for this. And then once you graduate, all grades are in, your school will send, I think it's your transcript and whatever all else they need to send. And then once your state board of nursing kind of does the paperwork and does whatever they need to do on their end, then they will release your authorization to test. Now, there is a couple of things that I do kind of want to mention with this that I think some students don't realize. That one, there is a thing on there that they'll call the validity dates, and that's essentially what time frame that ATT is good for. Like, I think on NCSBN they'll say on average it's 90 days, but that could, that could vary depending on your state board of nursing, what state you live in. The other thing to note that that's been mentioned is that there could be in some instances where you've been approved, but you don't receive your ATT. And so at that point, you'll need to kind of contact the NCLEX candidate services. They also mentioned that if you lose your ATT, then that's, you'll also then will need to contact the NCLEX candidate services as well to be able to manage that for you. Now, as I was going through kind of doing some other digging and research for this video, I think there's a couple of examples that I did find that I think might be important to kind of throw out there. So one example was somebody who, in terms of the timeline of when they received their ATT. Somebody graduated on May 15th. I guess they said their school sent the transcript sometime around May 22. They registered with Pearson VUE sometime around May 24th, and then they were able to receive their ATT around June 4th. Now, there was another scenario of somebody who registered on April 17th, graduated on April 28th, and then received their authorization to test on like May 1. And so, I just kind of give these examples out there just so you can kind of see that there are some different ranges of when things are going to happen. And so yours might not necessarily happen as quick or as slow as some of these examples did. So those are just kind of some things to keep in mind. Now, if you are wanting to know how to be successful on the NCLEX, regardless of when you do get your ATT and when you are able to schedule it. Make sure you check out these next videos that you'll see that will show up over here. And I'm going to walk you through some things that I think will be important for you to know. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit thumbs up if you found this video helpful, and I will catch you very soon